Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the March 31st, 2026 warrant hearing of the town of Medfield. Having a quorum present, I'd like to call this warrant hearing to order, and we'll make a roll call.
Ed Vassallo, present.
Proctor present. Elizabeth Kelly present.
Joe Hunt, present.
Steve Callahan present.
Brent Nelson, present.
Ashley Ledoux present. Emily McCabe present.
Steve Michelson, present.
Okay, great. So now we need a motion to open the hearing. Somebody want to make
Motion
Okay, is there a second? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, okay, so the warrant hearing is open pursuant to section 2.9 of the town charter. Residents may participate in person at this hearing or remotely via Zoom. The proposed town warrant has been voted and signed by the select board, posted to the town's website, and made available to residents. A public notice of this warrant hearing has been made to the residents of Medfield. The warrant committee will now hold a hearing on the proposed town warrant. This hearing is being recorded, and a replay of this recording will be made available to Medfield TV and also on the town's website. So the purpose of tonight's hearing is to give an opportunity for residents to understand the budget choices before town meeting, ask questions, and hear the warrant committee's review of the 2027 operating budgets and the articles of the warrant. If you could, do you have the slides?
Yes.
Can you advance those? That would be great. Go to the agenda slide. The next slide. Yeah, there we go. Okay, great. So we'll begin with a fiscal update and a review of two FY27 operating budgets. One within Proposition 2.5 and one requiring an override. After that, we'll walk through the warrant articles by category and then open the floor for public questions and comments before closing the hearing. Before we get started, though, I want to make some personal remarks about the fiscal update and take a moment to acknowledge the many difficulties and difficult discussions that have taken place over the past several months. This has been a challenging budget cycle for Medfield, and it's been for many communities in Massachusetts. And the conversations required to work through these issues have not always been easy. So I want to express my gratitude to all the department heads, the school committee, the select board, and the members of the warrant committee for their time, professionalism, and civility that they brought to this whole process. Everyone approached the work with a genuine commitment to understanding the challenges that we face and finding a responsible path forward. We may not all agree on every recommendation or every solution, but that is a normal and healthy part of local government. But throughout the process, the tone has remained constructive, respectful, and focused on the best interest of the community. And that shared commitment to thoughtful civil discourse is what allows us to make progress even when the decisions are difficult. The next slide. So maybe just provide some context about the work the warrant committee has been doing since the fall. Medfield's not alone this year. The communities across Massachusetts are finding this cycle very difficult. Rising shared costs, health insurance volatility, and a limited state aid are challenges being felt statewide. Beginning in the fall of 2025, the warrant committee undertook a detailed review of our revenues, projections, the shared and fixed costs, and departmental budget requests. We looked not just at fiscal 27, but also fiscal 28. And it quickly became clear to us that the pressures we were seeing were not limited to 1 year. So we looked at fiscal 28. And in that early work, we identified a structural deficit across both years It's a gap that between what it costs to maintain services and what Proposition 2.5 allows us to raise in revenue. We communicated this concern to the school committee, the select board in December, well before budgets were finalized. And from there, as the warrant committee studied options, we evaluated scenarios and considered both short-term and long-term impacts. We communicated with a joint working group of school committee, select board, and warrant committee members. And that collaborative work across departments, boards, and committees brings us to tonight's recommendation and the budget choices we're presenting tonight. Next slide. So fiscal 2027 is, we're at a genuine decision point. Several pressures are converging all at once. The shared costs, especially health insurance, are rising at rates well above our revenue growth. State aid remains essentially flat, and both the town and school departments are facing contractual and inflationary pressures that exceed what Prop 2.5 allows. So this year, those pressures are compounded by a significant increase in the vocational school assessment. So all of this, because of it, fiscal 2027 requires a choice. It requires a choice between two operating budgets. Next slide. So as we look ahead, residents will see two budgets at town meeting. There'll be a Proposition 2.5 budget, which stays within the allowable levy limits, but requires substantial cuts, and an override budget, which restores most core services and includes a stabilization fund to provide predictability for fiscal 27 and fiscal 2028. Next slide. The Proposition 2.5 budget. It reflects the revenues that we can raise without an override. The total revenue grows by about 2.6%, but shared and fixed costs grow by nearly 6%. And that leaves only 1.8% growth for the operating budgets of the town and the schools. It's far below what's needed to maintain current services. And this slide shows the breakdown for the schools and town departments. The next slide, actually. Yeah, this is the breakdown between the budgets for school and town. They're allocated 75.54% to the schools, and the town is 24.46%. Next slide. So what does this mean in practice? It means if the override does not pass, both the town and school departments face deep cuts. Staffing reductions, program reductions, and service delays would be unavoidable. There would be no stabilization fund, and a fiscal 2028 override would likely be required. Next slide. So these are the specific reductions. As you can see on the school side, the reductions total $1.43 million, including multiple FTE reductions across all 4 schools and the central office. And on the town side, the reductions total $254,000, affecting police overtime, land use administration, DPW maintenance, council on aging, Saturday hours, library services, and more. Next slide. So the override budget restores most core services. It maintains balanced funding between towns and schools. It includes a stabilization fund to provide predictability for 2027 and 2028. Next slide. Now, on the school, on the restorations, if the override passes, on the school side, the override restores about $823,000 in positions, though it's not all the reductions are going to be restored in the override, particularly on the school side. On the town side, the override restores $215,000 in services, including animal control, land use administration, DPW maintenance, council on aging, Saturday hours, and library services. Next slide. So the override maintains Medfield's longstanding 75-25 proportionality of our budgets between school and town budgets. The variance increases slightly for the schools over the next 2 years, and then it will begin to revert back to the 75-25 norm in fiscal 2029. Next slide. The total override amount requested is 1.95 million, and that includes 1.04 million for the fiscal 2027 operating budget and $914,000 for the fiscal 2028 stabilization fund deposit. Next slide. So why the stabilization fund matters. The stabilization fund is included to avoid back-to-back overrides. It helps bridge 2027 and 2028 when the revenue growth is insufficient to maintain services, and it provides stability as the town faces major capital decisions. Next slide. The tax impact for the average single-family home assessed at about 1.03 million. The 2027 tax impact of the override is $874. More than half of Medfield homes are assessed below $1 million. So many residents will see a lower impact than that. The note that of the 874, 401 of it is within the Prop 2.5 limitations. So that's your typical yearly increase that you would see without an override. So the override impact is $473 for a total of $874. Next slide. This slide gives you some information about various assessed values. There's two colors on the slide. The blue color is the amount of increase that is within the Prop 2.5 limitations. So, for example, the one I just mentioned, the average $401 is blue. That's the typical yearly increase within Prop 2.5. The tax impact from the override is $473. So the total tax increase in 2027 will be $874 for the average home. I know the town is working on updating the website to make it easy for residents to go and just put your address in. You won't have to remember your assessed value. You'll just put your address in and it'll tell you this is your tax impact from the override. Next slide. So in 2028, impact is lower than 2027 because the stabilization fund offsets the operating needs and the debt exclusions continue to decline. Next slide. In this slide, in 2026, Medfield's average single-family tax bill ranked 30th highest in the state. That is the lowest ranking in 38 years. And this context is important as residents consider the override. Since they've been tracking the ranking of communities, this is where we fall. Next slide. So, future challenges and opportunities. Even with an override, the town faces long-term challenges: a structural gap between revenues and costs, health insurance volatility, stagnant state aid, significant capital needs. So, and then on the opportunity side, we have hopefully a successful closing and completion of the Trinity State Hospital development, because that will provide needed relief beginning in fiscal 2029. But as we talk about capital needs, significant capital needs, this sort of came up, I think, for a question earlier with the select board. I wanted to highlight the importance of capital sequencing. Medfield has a financial policy that limits debt service to no more than 10% of our annual revenues. And that policy exists for a reason. It ensures that one generation of residents does not overburden another generation with excessive debt and tax impacts. While the town has developed a 20-year capital plan, we do not yet have, what we don't have yet is a prioritization of the many projects that are within it. Projects that collectively total hundreds of millions of dollars, many of which involve buildings that will need attention, soon. The town is now moving forward with a second effort for a new Dale Street school, and that project alone requires significant lead time, feasibility work, and that project and community engagement. But Dale Street is only one piece of a much larger capital picture, and what's missing is a comprehensive study or a plan that assesses our capital needs and sequences them in a way that aligns with our 10% debt service policy. Such a plan would help residents understand that we cannot do everything at once, and it would provide a transparent roadmap for how and when major projects can responsibly move forward. Next slide. Next slide, free cash slide. So this is our use of free cash that will be in the warrant this year. And the various uses are listed out. You'll see there's articles for all of these, that we'll talk about. We have a policy of maintaining our general reserves at a minimum unspent balance of 3% of the general fund budget operating expenditures. And so this leaves us with a small amount available of unused, $66,000. So essentially we have identified uses for $3 million of free cash for this town meeting. Next slide. Our financial policy scorecard tracks compliance with various important metrics in the financial policies. These track compliance with reserve levels, debt policies, progress toward stabilization fund goals, and they're all in compliance, or they're tracking in the right direction, with and without an override. It doesn't impact this compliance. Next slide. Okay, so I think we're at the stage. So we're at the stage now where we can talk about the warrant articles, and I think what we'll do is we have. Can you monitor questions that we get online? I guess. So if you have a question, it's probably best if you come up here. I guess there's no microphones here today, so this is our mic right here, so that people can hear you in the recording. And then state your name and address. Any questions or comments will be taken from everybody, first from people here in the room, and then we'll go to Zoom if there are any. If you're on Zoom, enter your name and address in the chat function, and we'll promote you to make a comment or ask a question. Why don't we walk through the categories of articles at this point, and then we'll pause after each one and ask for questions. What's that?
I'm gonna stop where you are.
Go to the next, so this is the first grouping of articles. Let it read each one, and then we'll ask for questions or comments. Article 1, the annual town report. Article 2, under human resources, elected officer compensation. Article 3, personnel administration plan. Article 4, community CPR revolving fund. For financial articles, we have Article 5, the hometown hero banner revolving fund. Article 6, the annual revolving fund expenditure limits. Article 7, the cemetery perpetual care trust funds. Article 8, the local PEG access appropriation. Article 9, the Capital Stabilization Fund. Article 10, the Capital Budget, non-building. Article 11, the Municipal Building Capital Stabilization Transfers. Article 12, the Capital Budget Buildings. Article 13, the 2027 Operating Budget, Prop 2.5 budget. Article 14, the Override Reserve Stabilization Fund. Article 15, the 2027 Alternative Operating Budget Override. Article 40 is free cash. Are there any comments or questions on this, any one of these articles on this list? Anything? Oh, yes. Yeah, come on up, and
It's a very simple question.
that's all right.
Renee Schweikart, 1 Metacomet Street. I just had a question on Article 12, I believe, and it was under the town and school section, and I was just curious about what are or is the green communities?
Okay, do we have somebody here that can answer that question? This is the capital budget.
Every year we have to set aside money for the Green Communities Grant. There's usually a match.
Okay,
And so we're working with our energy manager consultants
okay,
to set up that project, do the facilities. And the select board should be signing that contract and be fully briefed on the project on April 7th.
okay.
But that's setting aside our matching. And it may or may not be as high as that. We'll find out.
Yeah, I thought it was more like trees or something.
Oh, no, it's the Green
Okay,
Communities Grant,
okay.
sorry.
Thank you.
No, it's a good question.
Yeah,
Good
and we're actually
question.
gonna change the title of that.
Good question. Any other questions for people in the room? Chris?
Chris Potts, 7 Kerr Street. Just a very basic question on Article 12, the capital budget appropriation for municipal buildings. I had thought that, I don't know if it was from our town audit or the award that we got, but I had thought that the school committee was required to vote on the capital budget. They haven't yet, so I didn't know what the process was for that from the town standpoint.
I think historically they, and Christine, correct me if I'm wrong. I think historically they have voted on items that are school related. Is that how they've done
Yes,
it?
they typically vote on their project.
On their project. But not the whole article. Like that. But I think that's
That's what we've done in the
I think that's the way it's been done.
Because last year I know they voted on the capital budget. and
Okay.
They actually stated that they were asked to vote on the capital budget from the town side, but that didn't happen at the hearing this year. So I was just a little confused about where the direction comes
Yeah,
from.
I know that they, they will I believe they're gonna get together, reconstitute themselves as a committee and vote on the article. They voted on one article last week, which was the curriculum
Correct.
one. But the operating budget they haven't voted on. And then any capital items, I guess. So
Okay.
that they'll have to, get together and do that, I would think. Yeah.
I wasn't clear if the directive came from our.
I'm not aware of anything in the bylaws that requires that. But at this precedent, I think that's kind of how
I
it
think
works.
I have to probably go back and look at my notes, but I think if they're a sponsor of the article, I probably asked to make sure they.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Is there anything online for this group of articles? Okay. Any other questions in the room for this group? If not, then go to the next group. Okay. Brittany, if you could advance to the next group. The water, sewer, capital, and school-related articles. The water and sewer, Article 16, Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund Budget. Article 17, Transfer of Surplus Bond Proceeds. Article 32, Transfer of Castle Hill Sewer System Capital. Article 18 is the Park and Recreation Modular Unit. Article 19 is the Elementary School Tax Mitigation Stabilization Fund. And Article 20 is the Literacy Curriculum. Are there any comments or questions on any of these 6 articles? Yeah. Jerry.
Jerry Hot, 7 Kerr Street. So the literacy curriculum being pulled out from the regular school budget, is that because that's a 1-year purchase as opposed to a structural addition to the school budget?
Yeah, yes, I did do some research on this. So every 7 or 8 years, it's typical for school districts to reevaluate curriculums, right? And the practice is mixed, but there's a number of towns that when you look at the cost of that, right? There's some very small cost in the first couple of years, and there's usually some grant money available for that. The big cost is in the 3rd year, and where they have to make major purchases of materials and stuff like that. And so that's what this represents. It's that 3rd year. It's about 221,000, and so it fits our our sort of policy of using free cash for one-time type things. If something doesn't happen for every 7 or 8 years, it's considered kind of one time. So some communities put it in their capital budget, but our policy on capital doesn't quite fit in the existing policy. We'd have to make an exception for it.
And so pulling that out.
It was never, yeah, just
Right. No,
it was never in their level service budget. So they never had this request in that level service budget.
I'm actually in favor of it, so I'm not
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand it versus if it's 3.6 for the school. This, if it was added in, would bring it closer to the 4.1, but it's only a 1-year blip.
Right.
So it's not a structural thing that will be built in.
Right.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
exactly. Yeah, you got it.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate
All right. Any other questions on these 6 articles? Okay. Anything online?
No.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next group of articles. Okay, so these are Medfield State Hospital, land, conservation, and economic development. So the Medfield State Hospital and land use articles, Article 21, the Medfield State Hospital environmental review, the overlook and laundry parcel. Article 22, the Medfield State Hospital maintenance and security. Article 23, landfill closure, attorney and engineers. Article 24, Medfield State Hospital engineering, parcel B. Article 25, the Conservation Trust Fund. Article 26, the Economic Vitality article. Any comments or questions on these 6 articles? Anything online? Okay. Okay, so we'll go to the next group of articles. These are general government, energy, and zoning and petitions. So general government, we have Article 27, the snow and ice deficit. Article 28, prior year bills. Article 29, reduction in town meeting quorum. Article 30, the town charter amendment, time of the elections. Article 31, the adoption of specialized stretch energy code. Article 33, the digital legal notices. Article 34, waive mandatory retirement age for the deputy fire chief. O'Toole. Article 35, transfer of care, custody, and control of Baxter Park. Article 36, the sign bylaw update. Article 37 is a mixed-use zoning overlay. Article 38 is a citizen's petition, a feasibility study for intergenerational community center. And Article 39 is a dog walking licensing fee. Any comments or questions on this group of articles? Anything online? Nothing online, okay. Okay. Believe, let's see, so that makes. Yeah, so. I think we're sort of at the end of our hearing. Thank you everyone for coming and engaging in this part of our hearing. Taking the time to understand our budgets. They're complicated this year. There's a lot going on. But what's really important is not showing up here, but coming to town meeting. So that's on May 4th. Put a plug in for that. On this slide, you'll also see all sorts of resources. Putting a plug in for our website. There's a lot of stuff on the website. There's an FAQ on the website that answers a lot of questions that people might have that don't follow this that closely. So I would entertain a motion to close the warrant here.
Close the warrant hearing.
There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening. It is March 31st at 7:40. Having a quorum present, we'd like to convene the warrant committee with a roll call vote, I guess.
Ed Vazala, present.
Elizabeth Kelly present.
Joe Hunt, present.
Steve Callahan, present.
Brett Nelson, present.
Ashley Leduc present. Emily McCabe present.
Peter Michelson, present.
Okay, great. Could you just advance the thing? We don't have a complicated agenda tonight, other than the warrant articles.
Famous last.
Yes.
I love that chuckle.
So we do have some minutes to approve, and then the rest of our time will be spent getting through as many warrant articles as we can. I think there is a meeting on April 6th. It's a Monday now. Remember, don't come on Tuesday. It's Monday next week, where we can hopefully finalize all of this because the warrant goes to print on the 7th. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. You can take that down probably. We don't need that anymore. So I guess we'll start with, does everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes? Whatever, Brittany, I don't know, whatever you did, but you used a different AI assistant. They're like cut in half. But is there any comments or questions on those minutes? Okay, if not, I'd entertain a motion to approve them.
Motion to approve the minutes.
There's a second. Second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Okay, so I thought the best way to do this is probably just go by number at this point, since we've only voted on one article. So I'd like to get as many, maybe the financial ones, or we'll go in order. Well, how about we'll go in order? Yeah, let's just go in order.
Have me for the rest of the meeting.
There's 40 of them, so okay. Article 1 is the annual town report. I assume
We'll have a draft online. The select board are behind in producing their report,
okay.
but there will be a draft on.
There'll be a draft online by town meeting.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's my favorite thing in the entire world. We just yell out no sleep till town meeting all day long.
All right.
Set the music.
There any questions? Any questions?
Yes.
Any questions on Article 1, the annual report? Okay, I think we'll just go. If there's no issues, we should just approve them as we go along,
Sure.
right?
Absolutely.
So I entertain a motion to approve Article 1.
I'll move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Article 2 is the elected officer compensation. So I see the only
The only increases for the town clerk, we typically increase that by the same cost of living that we do our non-union employees.
Okay,
Although Marion is an elected town clerk, she really operates the department as a full-time employee and maintains the office open. Although we cut her some slack and closed it today after a 22-hour election day. So
she deserves.
come back tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, any questions on this article? All right, entertain a motion to approve Article 2.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all right, all in favor, say aye. Great. This goes a lot quicker when we're all in person. All right, Article 3 is the Personnel Administration Plan.
This year, this includes a 1.5% cost of living increase for all non-union personnel. So is anybody not covered by a collective bargaining agreement? And this is just on the town side. This does not include anybody who is on the school side.
I shouldn't be interrupting, I want to keep
Yeah.
the flow going, but are there any non-union, other than Jeff and Mike, are there non-union employees on the school side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have management that is non-union.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is budgeted in the HR department, as one line item. And then after it's approved, it gets allocated to all the departments.
Yes.
Okay,
No, I was just
Yeah.
surprised it was any school department,
yeah,
other than Jeff. and Mike.
yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions on Article 3, the Personnel Administration Plan? Okay, if not, I'd entertain a motion to approve Article 3.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we go to the financial articles. Okay, so the first one is authorization for a new community CPR training revolving fund.
So the fire chief came to us earlier this year, and as you know, he's been with us as fire chief for a little over a year. So he's just starting to do some innovation and some projects. And he would like to set up a community CPR class, which he believes can be entirely self-sustaining, which is the perfect for a revolving fund. So he will collect fees for his CPR classes. It will go into this fund, and that fund will be used to buy materials or items necessary to operate the CPR class. So it's
So this
Yeah.
one, this doesn't require free cash, it's just,
no, we're not appropriating anything into it. He will collect the money for the fees, and then we'll get that started.
Okay.
I believe he does have some seed money in his own budget to be able to get it off the ground.
okay. Any questions? All right. We have a motion to approve Article 4.
So moved.
Okay, second, all in favor, say aye. Great. Article 5 is the authorization for a new Hometown Hero banner revolving fund.
So this was brought forth by a resident and our veterans agent, Ian, who made a presentation, if any of you saw it before the select board.
Yeah.
And we would like to start the Hometown Hero banners, which if you drive through Walpole or several other towns around us, you will see the veterans banners are on the streetlights. And so we are looking to get this started. They have some seed money from some residents who looks like we'll be able to purchase the first round of banners. And then anybody who wants a banner after that, we will collect the money for the banners and then be able to expend from this fund to pay for those new banners going up. So it should be a self-sustaining program as well.
Any questions?
I think you said the revenue was gonna come in.
People who want to purchase a banner.
Oh, just,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I know the Legion
Yeah,
has,
yeah.
will be.
It's kind of
purchasing some.
self-funded, yeah.
They did this in West Orange.
It's fantastic.
Center Street.
Yep.
It was unbelievable.
So we're gonna start small and then try and go out a little bit, and we're gonna time it with the 375th anniversary parade.
Great idea.
We thought we had problems.
Was he up there? Oh, wow,
Maybe it
yeah.
needs to be in Medfield too, just saying. I'll get you address for the check.
Any questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve Article 5?
I'll move.
A second, okay. All in favor, say aye. Okay, Article 5 passes. Article 6, the annual revolving fund expenditure limit authorization.
So once you create those two new accounts, this will be our full listing of what we have for revolving accounts. So we're required every year to vote and set the expenditure limit. This is basically, for example, the CPR funds. We're setting that as a $10,000 limit. We don't anticipate that we would need to expend more than that. But for example, when we talk about taking funds out of the advanced life support, they would need a higher amount to expend. Now, if we got through the year and we needed something else and they need to go higher, they can come to the select board and ask for an increase in their expenditure, but they must have that money in the revolving fund at the time. And that revolving fund we're capturing through fees or payments paid. So those are the ones we described.
Okay. And are there any changes to these authorized amounts from last year?
I don't believe so.
Other than adding the two new.
Other than adding the two, I think the rest are the same as they were last year. I'll double check, but I believe they're the same.
Because it's clearly been in the budget for several years, but what is the rest of your revolving fund?
So the Council on Aging runs a respite care program at the senior center, and it's several days a week. And so if you have a partner or a family member who has dementia or Alzheimer's and you as the caregiver needs respite, you can drop your family member off and there's a fee to go to that program. And it's, I believe it's a half-day program. And sometimes there's some flexibility on the timing of that, but it gives you time to do your grocery shopping, have lunch, take a little respite. And so we pay for the caregivers that we hire to run that program. We pay for their salaries out of this, and they also pay a portion of the utilities to offset that for the operating budget. It's a really, really, really great program.
Yeah.
Any other questions on this article?
Comment. I'm so happy that you, over the years, there's more moving towards revolving funds.
Yeah.
This year it was probably 4 or 5 in the last year, and it's great. Get that control.
Yeah.
Especially when they can be self-sustaining.
Yeah. 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 It takes it out of the operating budget.
Yeah.
Dilemma. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Entertain a motion to approve Article 6. Second, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Article 7, Cemetery Perpetual Care Trust Funds.
And this is the money that we take in when you buy a plot over at Vine Lake Cemetery. 50% goes to perpetual care and 50% goes to the sale of lots fund. And I'll have balances for you, and whoever has the warrant committee report will have the current balances in that report for you.
Yes. So that reminds me, has that we were going to do a major expansion of the cemetery, right?
Yes,
Is that
we funded that several years ago. We funded the design and the construction. That's all coming from the sale of lots fund.
is that construction ended? Is it done?
No, it hasn't started yet.
Has it started yet? Okay. Good. All right. Any questions or comments on Article 7? Okay, if not, I'd entertain a motion to approve Article 7.
So moved.
All right, is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Okay. Okay, Article 8, the local PEG access appropriation. This is our wonderful Medfield TV, I guess.
Yes, so this is the money that we receive through the cable companies, and when we negotiate those contracts, we take fees from those and transfer them directly to Medfield TV. That's how we used to do it. The checks used to come to us and we'd sign them over to Medfield TV and they would take them. The Department of Revenue several years ago said that they had a problem with that and they wanted an intermediary step where we had to create basically a PEG fund. That money now gets deposited into the PEG fund and we distribute that at town meeting with an appropriation. Problem with that, this is just a little back context, is that Cable 8 has to wait, or Medfield TV has to wait an entire year to get their funding from us, where typically we were able to give it from on a quarterly basis. So we have supported legislation in the past to change that so that we could make those deposits and appropriations directly to them. But that has not passed as of now. So
Our legislature failed to act.
they're not listening to me. I have a great idea.
But this money is in the fund, right?
This is in the fund. This is
Yeah.
the total amount of money we have collected
Yeah.
from them each year.
Okay.
So we give that to them and we hope a check doesn't come in the day after town meeting.
So we have the money, we're just giving it to them all at once.
We're just transferring all of it,
That was the question. It's 100%.
100%. Yep. Money laundering, no, sorry.
Well,
I mean,
we're an intermediary. Sure, you know,
More
leakage.
bookkeeping. Do we get to charge a fee for processing like most banks do?
yes, they film our select board meetings.
Yeah. It's here every other Tuesday night.
Spend a lot of time with
Got
them.
our budgets tight.
All right, any questions on Article 8? More questions? No? Okay, if not, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve Article 8.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Article 9 is the appropriation transfer to the capital stabilization fund. And this is, let me make sure this is the right number. Looks like, yeah, on your free cash sheet. Yep. Okay, so this is to move 900,000 free cash into capital stabilization fund. And then there's a $35,000 transfer, it looks like.
Yes, and those are from old articles that have been closed out. The projects are completed. The funds were no longer needed. We turn those back to the capital stabilization fund. That's where they were paid out of originally. So
Yeah,
several of these going.
So they're on this list here, right?
and that's
Really
the-
old one,
Yeah.
2013,
2005.
2005 is there. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So this is money for Brent to play around with.
Yeah.
I'm giving it back to him.
So I'm glad that they cleaned this up.
Yeah.
You know,
Andrew and Brittany worked really hard to get all of this moving
Yeah.
forward.
but there's still more though. Keep
Still
your
more?
eye. Yeah, there's still more.
We got more.
Phasers are expensive.
No, there's still more there that are open but they have reasons why they need to open.
Yes.
So I'm sure the capital budget committee is pleased with getting an extra 35,000.
Yes, it helps us greatly for next year.
Any questions on Article 9? We had the amount of free cash in our analysis, so everything. All right, if not, more questions, we entertain a motion to approve Article 9.
So moved.
There's a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Article 10. The capital budget appropriation for non-buildings. And this is 3.6 million. That seems like a high number. Is that right?
Well, that's the total amount.
Oh, that includes water and sewer.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So we have some water and sewer. So once we break down the funding sources on the bottom, in the next the next iteration of this report, you'll have that funding.
Okay, you're gonna fill out that table.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's at least a couple million from water and sewer. Is that right?
Yeah.
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 In the Harding Street I&I, there was like 950,000 surplus bond proceeds.
But it was more like 1.6 for
Yeah.
capital. Okay, that sounds more like range than I'm used to. I mean, we looked at this already as a committee. So,
Have there been any changes since that?
any changes since we looked at this?
No.
Okay. All right.
Can I just ask a question? The warrant committee reports
Mhm.
are no longer, or
Oh no.
They're not finished yet.
they're not finished yet?
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll be mailing them all out, emailing them out to everybody for your own.
We
We'll give you the draft and all the information, and then you usually take them and make changes.
can we have those before our meeting on Monday? Sorry, but that's our last meeting, and they're going in the warrant. So
Oh, no, we're
kind of
fully
have to.
aware we have to.
Okay. All right. If it helps, I drafted a couple.
I thought those were good for me.
Okay,
Sorry, just, yeah.
so on Article 10, any questions on Article 10? Okay, if not, entertain a motion to approve Article 10. Okay, is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Anyway, Article 11.
This is transfers to the municipal building capital stabilization fund. So this has a dedicated funding source, and that is the municipal building stabilization fund override that passed in 2018 that the select board have the authorization to create, to increase by 2.5% each year. Again, what we did is Brittany, facilities, Andrew all went through and worked on closed out projects that we no longer needed. Either came in under budget, project was not moving forward, or was the remainder of the balance at the completion of the project. So we have $269,000 to return to municipal buildings.
That's great. You know, we talked about when we met with, I forget his name, the facilities director.
Rob Quinn.
Trying to sort of continue a practice of maybe having a policy. We don't go more than a certain period of time.
Mhm.
And if
We
we
talked
get,
about that.
if we get to that point, it kind of, you know, should be elevated maybe to us to say, you know, or to the capital budget committee to say,
Why haven't we spent?
why haven't you spent this money? Because if not, there are more priorities that probably
Right, it could be reallocated.
Reallocated,
We
right?
agree. I think we held that as the first amendment to the financial policies to be included in the
Okay.
next iteration.
Okay, good. All right, any questions on Article 11? All right, I entertain a motion to approve Article 11. Second,
Second.
and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Article 12, capital budget appropriation municipal buildings. This is $1.5 million. And it is spread across all our buildings, it looks like. The big Medfield Outreach has got a piece of this for their space.
Yes, and there, it looks like we've already bid that project out, and it looks like it has come in just under the budget, so we should be
Yeah.
able to move forward with that right
Yeah.
away.
I do think, you know, the question we got on green communities, I think
I'm gonna change the title
you
of
should
that.
change
Yep.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
because
we're
I
gonna
think-
call it the Green Communities Grant map.
Okay, there you go. That's great. we
And
talked
so I
about that.
believe you looked at this last time.
Yeah.
There has been a change since then, and that is the tri-county assessment. And that is the amount of the capital that we're responsible for the new tri-county vocational school. And that increased because that formula is done based on the number of students. So not only did our operating budget go up, but also the assessment for the capital.
Do you know how much it went up by or?
I think last year was 64,000.
Yes.
So it's almost doubled, yeah.
Which is exactly what.
The regular budget doubled too, yeah. Okay. Any more questions on Article 12?
Under district wide, will you elaborate on the roof replacement and the paving parking lot renovations? District wide is a little vague.
That's the school district, not the town, so that would be on the school side.
Oh, district wide of the school.
Of the schools,
Okay,
yeah,
I
so
was
they're-
kind of surprised the paving.
It's multiple, it's multiple
It's
school
multiple
parking,
schools.
multiple school parking lots. is
Yeah.
that-
Yeah.
I recalled that they were paying that out of the
Yeah, I thought they were
Parking
using the
revolving.
revolver.
revolver to that.
They did have money in there to contribute.
Okay.
lining,
But I don't think they have enough in there for the
No,
whole
they
thing.
definitely don't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I don't remember them saying.
Is this going to be spent on all the schools or are there like two or three?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't.
I mean, if there are-
We have priorities
Yeah.
along the way, but I think that they alternate.
It might be a question, just if they know the schools, maybe just put them, just list them, like if it's two or three schools, if it's all schools, say all schools.
We'll pose the question to Rob and Michael and we'll email you their answer.
Ed,
Sorry, I didn't make more work. I just-
No, not at all.
could they, this is me going back to fees again, could they increase the fee? And therefore have more money for paving, and therefore we could take this out of the budget?
It was all in the revolver, so it's not a budget item.
Right, so,
So what are you saying?
I don't.
so right now we charge about $1
A dollar parking, yeah,
$1 a day for parking,
Right.
which yields X amount of money.
right.
Suppose we went to $2.50 a day. That would yield 2.5 times as much money, and then we'd need less money to.
No, because the money that is raised in the revolver must be spent within the revolver. Doesn't impact your operating budget.
But
No, he's talking about the capital item.
keeping in mind,
The
Oh, I
paving-
see,
the
you're
paving.
gonna reduce this? Yeah, I suppose that. could be a
Theoretically, I guess it
possibility.
could, yeah.
Yeah, because they kind
Yeah.
of shoved that off, like saying, well, we can't use it to help the operating budget, but I don't think I realized that we were using 250 out of
Yeah, not the
the
operating budget,
stabilization
but
fund.
perhaps it could reduce the capital budget.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
I'll tell someone I know.
You know, a guy.
Oh, thank you for that.
I think I
It took me a long time.
think the roof replacement, if I remember, he wanted to build up kind of,
Yeah.
We're setting it, yeah.
he wanted to put money aside every year so that we have some money to do a roof.
Right, because 150, I thought this, the first I thought this was like patching or something.
Yeah,
Then, yeah, he did say. that he
Yeah.
Wanted to.
yeah,
I think it, could also be used if we had an issue.
Right.
Would be about money on.
yeah,
hand.
yeah,
Yeah.
actually, yeah,
I think
yeah,
that was
yeah,
what it was like.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Same with HVAC, same reason.
Same for
Yeah,
HVAC.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, you know all.
You guys remember too?
Okay, any more questions on Article 12? Okay, I entertain a motion to approve Article 12. There's a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Okay, we're getting into the good stuff now. Operating budget, Article 13. We've only spent like 5 months on this one. But anybody have any questions on this?
I actually did have a question on the order of this, like,
Yes.
top story question, like, I would assume he's gonna do the override one first. Like,
so, what you wanna do is you wanna do the Proposition 2.5 compliant budget.
oh, I get it, okay, that's.
Because no matter how you feel about the override, we need to pass a budget that can go into effect on July 1st.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I get
There are some towns that choose not to do that, but then you have to call a special town meeting and bring everybody back to vote on what we know now. So,
it.
I mean, not everybody's as good as us. That's, I mean.
What I'm saying is, why does the order matter that much? So suppose we did the override, the 3.6, 3.3 first, and if it, God forbid, fail. Why couldn't we then take up the operating budget?
Because I think to do the operating budget, this compliant operating budget first is easier for people to understand. And that takes that out of the equation. We need that no matter what for July 1st.
Okay.
And then if there are going to be amendments or discussions about the override, that should be focused solely on the override.
And I will just add that this question is not really within our jurisdiction. The moderator has sole discretion on the order in which articles get addressed at town. So
But he might have to
interesting
miss-
question, but we really don't have a say over it.
So if you do this first, you see it passes.
Yep.
And then you do the other two, stabilization and the override budget, and that passes, then that supersedes.
Yes.
The two, that's the
Yeah.
understanding. It supersedes
If-
the first pass.
If it passes at the ballot,
That's,
If
yeah,
if it passes at the ballot, so it's a contingent vote. Yeah.
That's a committee.
Yeah.
yeah, because there's two votes, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
And hypothetically, these can be amended on the floor at a town meeting as well, so we
I don't
would like to
think
have
hypothetically.
something set.
I think.
It'd be nice to know we have a town.
Yeah, I think being able to open the town on July 1st is really,
Right.
really important. Selfishly.
If we want to go home before midnight.
Well, I can bring up the order of the other two.
Wait, when's the next ballot? Like,
So the election needs to be called by the select board. It requires a 35-day notice to the town clerk of the question and the amount of the override. So.
that's gonna be a new one that I've never seen before, right? Like
If
an
you,
election.
yes, because the last one was in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah,
It looks a lot like yesterday.
So 35 days, so if it's, that meeting is May 4, so sometime mid-June-ish.
So what the plan would be is for the select board to call the election once we know the final override amount. will be to call the election that night. So we always meet pre-town meeting. We will not adjourn our meeting until the end of the town meeting, so that the select board can vote and notify the town clerk immediately that night of the question. Now, it has been raised, other towns do this earlier. Why isn't Medfield doing it earlier? And my recommendation to the select board is if you do it earlier, that means the select board is setting the amount of the override. And for me, that is taking away the legislative power of town meeting. Not power, sorry, the authority. I feel town meeting has an opportunity to weigh in on this budget article. And I think if I was a town meeting member, open town meeting, but if I was in town at a town meeting and I made a change to the override article, for the select board to say, I'm sorry, we've already decided what the amount of the override is going to be, takes away from town meeting.
Sure.
Now, there are other towns that have it ahead of time when there's clear consensus. The town is definitely in favor of it. The select board is willing to call that early.
And they're also representative.
A lot of them have representative town
Representative
meetings.
town.
So
They
you've
don't-
already taken the
right.
temperature of your
Because
representative.
you already voted for your representative.
Yeah.
I have a friend who was in Winchester, representative town meeting, voted for the override and actually lost in the town election.
Yeah.
So it's easier sometimes. My other issues, because there's more than that, is if the article fails at town meeting and we're only left with Article 13, that means we're still having an election, a special town election that costs $11,000 to run, and there's no mechanism to cancel an election once it's called. So we would be reduced to the 1.8% budget, and I'm really gonna search to find $11,000 to hold an election. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair to anybody who's running that election.
I mean, we heard, and you might have listened to it, but we were Ed and I were at the school committee meeting, and we heard from Jeff that this causes a lot of, it's operational difficulties for them.
Oh, I understand
Because
completely.
they have to give out pink slips, early, right? Before they know if the vote is gonna happen, approve it, right? The election's gonna approve it or not. So it does cause a lot of, the timing causes them
The
issues.
timing is an
Yeah.
issue, and I understand, and this is the process we followed in 2018.
Yeah.
For the very reason is we didn't know there were 3 budgets proposed at town meeting in 2018, and we didn't know what was going to pass. So we called the election. We actually held it later. We called the election at the next select board meeting, which was a week later. So Jeff and I have had extensive discussions about this, which I think it's important for the select board to call it that night, to have it as soon as possible. We all know everybody goes away towards the end of June. We need to have it at the beginning of June if possible.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll only have questions and not amendments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I just don't think
Yes.
I don't think it's fair to have town meeting not have a say in what that would be.
Yeah, the optics don't look good there. Yeah.
No.
All right, any other questions on Article 13? All right, if not, I'd entertain a motion to approve Article 13, the operating budget.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Article 14. This is the stable reserve stabilization fund, the override reserve stabilization fund. Now, I notice you have on here, it requires 2/3
Yeah.
to approve it.
Because you're creating it. It's 2/3 to create
Majority of the fund.
majority. But creating it requires the 2/3
And to take it out, it's majority.
because it's a special stabilization.
But I guess
So conceivably,
this
we
could
might
fail.
not create a fund, but we still get a majority to fund it, then do I just hold the cash or?
I've had a case like that.
Yeah.
What happens if this fails and the override passes?
No, Joey.
Well, so I think.
Need 'em.
So I think that's the explanation, is that we have to present and prepare that you need this override, because you're creating the stabilization fund. So this will be to create it and to appropriate the money we are anticipating all in one article. So you're gonna create and appropriate all at the same time in one article.
Is there gonna be like a
So you would-
PowerPoint on this? Or, like,
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Well, I
No, I did, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
is there gonna, you know how like the zoning people do a
Yes.
nice presentation? Will there be a
We have
presentation?
been working on, we're preparing to have a handout to show people the order of operations for voting. So if this is what if you're voting to not support the override, these are the votes you would take to make that happen. If you're voting to support the override, these are the votes you would take.
I mean, I have asked Mike to give a presentation on this and the override.
Yes, we've been working with him mostly on a handout, a flow chart of.
But
choose your own adventure.
I'm still confused because 2/3 is a pretty high bar. So in other words, you wouldn't vote for this if you didn't think you wanted an override.
Right.
So it's possible this could fail.
Which is why
And
it
the override.
appears, yes, which is why it appears second, because if this fails, and we're gonna have to talk about these two articles simultaneously at town meeting. But if Article 14 fails, we need to make an amendment to Article 15 to take the stabilization fund out of that.
Take the 20, that 900,000
Take
has
the
to come out of it.
Yeah, because that's going to appear. as a
Yeah,
line
I'm kind of
item.
worried because the override is only a 50%, 51%
Yeah.
threshold, and this is 2/3, so there's a disconnect there for me.
Mhm.
So
I'm
So
sorry.
you're-
so that- Explain again why there's no money that gets appropriated. with
Yes,
Article
you're gonna
14.
create it and appropriate in one.
but it doesn't get appropriated unless the override is approved. So we don't
So
have
it's
the
gonna
money.
be, the motion will be contingent upon the passage of Article 15 and the ballot.
So where?
This is gonna be confusing for
Yeah,
people.
it's confusing. Yeah.
Where in Article 14? I see where it says contingent upon the passage of the alternative override. Budget detail.
We don't have the appropriation there because we didn't know what the appropriation was going to be, so we held off putting that in. Now that we,
Actually, I just saw an error. It says Article 13 here. It should be 15, right?
yeah, we'll change all of this. It probably was 13 earlier.
Yeah.
So if 14 fail.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If we amend 15 to
You
be a
would-
different amount,
You would need to amend it to take out the 913,000. So you could flip
The
them.
28 components.
but couldn't we just keep it the big number and then save the money for later?
No, you have to have someone split that. Otherwise, it's
That's where
available in
that's where I was
27.
going. Yeah, so
You
we'd
can-
have to amend
I'm just
the
saying,
Yeah.
stretch down to the 104.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's basically,
You would be available for expenditure in fiscal year 27. There's no mechanism to put that anywhere.
Yeah.
So you'd have to,
you have to spend it all.
or close it all to free cash.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, and then that gets with.
Yes.
I mean, if
So
you don't.
I think that gets, so
mean-
you could reverse these and vote on the operating budget first. And then you could
That's
vote,
what I'm thinking.
you could reverse them.
I think you do
Yeah.
the override first
They don't need that.
and then,
And then decide if you need it.
yeah,
If the override doesn't pass, then you can dismiss Article 14.
right.
Yeah.
Because it's
We'll
only,
reverse them,
this article is only needed for that 28,
just that one.
the fiscal 28 piece.
Yep.
So,
If you do the override first.
Yeah.
You still need the stabilization one next.
Right.
Because you have to split in two,
But-
but just don't need the third vote, which would be the regular 2.5. That's
No,
the
no,
one.
But if,
No, you need the 2.5
No, no, no.
compliant budget.
but if we pass 15 first, and then we go to 14 and 14 fails, we've already passed 15.
Yeah,
where we-
so we'll reverse the order. You'll do the override budget first.
Yeah.
And if that passes, then you will move Article 14, well, it'll be reversed, but yes.
no, but I think he's a.
I think it makes sense the way it is.
No, but he's got a good point. If 15, if 15 passes
Mhm.
and with the 2 years
Yeah.
and 14 fails,
Yeah.
what do we do with 28 money?
If we've already reversed. If we do the override with stabilization fund passes majority, we then move to stabilization fund, 2/3 fails. How do we amend something that we just?
You have to reopen the article.
Oh,
You have to go back in.
it's not-
Otherwise, that money flows to free cash.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Can you
14 and 15?
No,
Can you be absolutely certain that, I just don't remember I remember creating stabilization funds. Was like the 50% threshold, but then taking money out was 2/3 for certain
and
stabilization.
then that changed, so.
And that changed, but why do they have such a high threshold to create a stabilization fund? I could
We'll
see
double
it there, I could see there for take it out, but yeah, just double check that, because
You can check it tonight.
okay. I mean, I don't know if we have a solution for this, but it's,
I mean, the order kind of
makes sense. Here, rather than reopening.
Do the override, do
Right.
the stabilization first,
It
then
just
the
needs to be
override.
presented.
Yeah.
You're doing these preemptively.
For,
So
for,
that's-
it's the way they are now, 14, 15 have to come up at the same time and be talked about together.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
you could Just do the two
Yeah.
thirds first.
Yeah, they have to be discussed together. It's the sequencing of the voting and the different thresholds that really
Yeah.
is
We'll double check that.
kind of strange, but
And since 14 is contingent on 15, it can be explained to people as like, you're essentially creating the mechanism if you pass this next thing. If you don't pass it, there's no,
right.
Yeah.
It doesn't
and the-
exist.
And the motion would be contingent upon
Yeah.
passage of Article 15 and contingent upon the
On the
ballot.
ballot.
Double
Yeah.
contingent.
So if
Yeah.
somebody changes the amount on 15 to just be fiscal year 27, the revolver will still be, or the stabilization fund rather, will be created but not funded. Essentially, that would be like worst case.
Yeah, but there's
No,
that,
but if you've already voted to create it and fund it in one article, you're essentially getting a preview of what people are gonna vote for Article 15. If people don't support Article
Right,
14,
Right,
then I think we have a hint as to what people are gonna vote for Article 15.
just if somebody decides. to do-
I mean, we have to really do a good job explaining this.
Yes.
But conceivably, you could create the fund.
It could be unfunded.
I'm
It would
really,
remain
right.
unfunded, then maybe you just don't set that.
Smart, it's very-
Yeah.
it's got it. This is so complex that it requires 2/3.
We'll double check.
We just, I Googled it. We
Is that by state statute? or by
Yes.
state?
Department of Revenue.
So if you could get that statute.
Okay, but what,
Yes, Chad.
Christine made it.
is it just because
Doesn't
it's
matter.
a stable, it's an override stabilization fund?
Because it's a special
Okay,
stabilization.
but here's my question. When we did the one for the,
Special education.
special education, that wasn't a 2/3 vote to set that up.
I don't remember. off the top of my head. We have to go back.
Special education and the stabilization.
That's a reserve fund. It's a reserve account.
Oh, it's called a reserve
called a
fund. It's not
reserve.
technically a reserve fund.
Yeah.
What about the tax mitigation stabilization?
Oh, that was 2/3.
That-
The laws changed since we set
That was a
up, too.
2/3 vote?
Laws also changed since we did that. I will check it before we leave.
Okay.
It's not nearly as contentious. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay. All right, well, okay, so where are we? We have to
But
prove.
we could have all this fun again next year.
No, you all could have this one.
Oh, your term doesn't end until 28. No.
All right,
I
Article,
put that in the book.
Article,
These are
four-
the time.
okay, so Article 14, we're gonna approve, I mean, we'll deal with this whole.
We'll deal with the thing,
sequencing,
but
we can approve it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Article 14, entertain a motion to approve Article 14.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Okay, Article 15 is the override. And do we have any discussion on 15? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Sorry, I know we're trying to find these. Do we have to put the amount in?
I was wondering.
It'll be in the motion.
In the motion that
Okay,
we made.
okay, but not in.
Once everybody's in agreement, we'll put it in the, we'll put it in the motion, not the article.
Okay.
And so, Article 15, is there a motion to approve Article 15?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Article 16, the 2027 Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund Budget.
We just got the final, but you don't have the numbers in here. We just got the final budget today. Water and sewer had just met to make a few changes.
Okay, we can do that next week, right? We'll do the water and sewer next week. 17, Article 17. The transfer of surplus bond proceeds. See if the town will authorize the transfer of surplus proceeds from previously issued bonds which are no longer needed, right, to the Elm Street Water Project.
Mhm.
And does this have to have the amount in it, in the motion?
Yes, we just got the final amount. Andrew sent it to me, so we'll put it in the updated.
I'm just curious,
I think it's
what-
948.
948,949.14.
How much?
$948,949.14.
It's a lot.
I was prepared to talk about this 3 weeks ago, and I'm jonesing.
We even had a meeting.
Give us an update, Joe. Go for it.
You go home tonight, you can recite.
Oh, that's right. I've been talking.
Say the speech for town meeting.
I've been talking to myself in the mirror every week. in preparation for this one. Yeah. No, it's the Harding Street I&I project, the estimated project cost was about 1.5 million. We were gonna fund it with the $948,949.14 of surplus bond proceeds from the Elm Street water treatment, plus retained earnings from the sewer enterprise fund. Medfield committed to completing the project by December 31, 2027, and to verify the amount of I&I infiltration and inflow by December 31, 2029. It's expected to reduce sewer I&I by approximately 40,000 gallons per day. Mo walked me through this rather extensively, the entire process and project, but the warrant's essentially doing two things: repurposing unused borrowing authority and applying it to a state mandated sewer infrastructure improvement that Medfield has already committed to complete. So we're not so much creating a new project as identifying funding source for an already planned.
I think you have your
I
report.
was like, can you please send me your warrant report?
We'd be happy here. You can have a
I
copy.
would take that. Thank you.
Good job. Phil.
That's big weight off my shoulders. Literally.
Three down.
Well done.
The Academy Awards have come.
I don't have any one-liners. I do. Sure do. That's the actual downside. I do know all about I&I now. Yeah.
All right.
Mo took an hour and a half to educate me, so I feel like I know what I'm talking about.
Any questions then on this transfer of surplus bond proceeds, Article 17?
I just have a general question about surplus bond proceeds. It just seemed like a lot of surplus, which great, maybe project came in way under, but
Way under.
and
we got an interest rate of 1.4516.
okay.
Oh, yeah,
so
this
that-
was the record.
This is the water treatment plant in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God,
we were really lucky.
we should frame that.
I had,
in a
yeah.
frame.
Is it often that we have that much into surplus though, or that's unusual?
No,
Okay,
usually
that's it.
projects are more apt to have overruns.
Right,
but-
okay.
We've done a very good job. The public safety building came in under budget. We had a great bidding environment for that, and then the water treatment.
And speaking of framing, if you go to the DPW, it's actually in the hallway. They have pictures of all the projects they've done. There's one.
Great, great. I meant the bond.
Oh, I know. I've also studied the project.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that interest rate. I've framed that.
Yeah.
We'll
All right.
nail it to the door like the 95 Theses.
Yeah. Okay, just- Okay. It's only 8:30. It's not 9 o'clock yet. Okay, so we have a motion to approve Article 17. Is there a second? Okay, all in favor, say aye. All right. Article 18, the Park and Rec prefab. I think we were going to give them
I
some
think
more
you
time
give them until next Monday.
to next Monday to let us know
Yeah.
what they want to do.
Yeah.
And Article 19 is the Elementary School Tax Mitigation Stabilization Fund. This we've had for a number of years now, so it's 900,000 we're putting in there. Any questions on this one? Yeah, entertain a motion to approve Article 19. There's a second, or all in favor, say aye. Okay. Article 20 is the appropriation for the literacy curriculum, the 221,000 for the curriculum literacy program for bookworms. And is Jeff going to help you write the report on this?
You already did.
Oh, he did. Okay. Yeah.
I'm down. I'm now four. I have 4 off the list right now.
Good. Good. I mean, we talked about this one when he was in. Any questions on this one? Okay. If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve Article 20.
So moved.
There's a second. All in favor, say aye. Okay. Then we have Article 21, which is the State Hospital Environmental Review, the overlook and laundry parcel.
So this covers, for those of you who don't know, the overlook is to be maintained by ECAM. And that is where the former landfill was, where they did the remediation. But the laundry parcel, which has undergone extensive remediation, is part of the LDA back in 2014 to be transferred to the town. we are still working diligently with DCAM, multiple outside consultants on both sides to assure that when we take over the laundry parcel, it comes to us clean and for our drinking water standards. So we are still working on that transfer. And I think the last time we appropriated money for this was several years ago. So we tend to go through it as the project comes through for a review.
So, what's the hope of, what this study will these consultants will do? They will come back with a study saying that the parcel's clean and we can accept it?
Yes.
Is that kind of the
Yep.
goal?
So, yes, we have licensed site professionals who are reviewing DCAM submittals to us from Weston and Sampson,
Okay.
as well as environmental attorney who's representing us to make sure that if and when we do take the laundry parcel.
Is the closing of the Trinity development contingent on this at all?
Nothing. Nope. This is just strictly between the town and DCAM.
So this has
Nothing to do with the Trinity.
They could come back and say there's a problem here. We can't accept it. The Trinity project's still going to move forward. Okay.
Yep. They're not contingent upon it.
Why did we want that parcel right in the middle of their development? What was the reason for
The
that?
laundry parcel?
Yeah.
So the laundry parcel is actually one of the nicest pieces of property.
It's a
at the
beautiful
state
view.
hospital. It overlooks the Charles.
Well, I had the wrong parcel in my head.
It's to the left when you drive
Yeah,
back,
okay,
right?
left back shoulder.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
Right back
beautiful.
there. It's
Yeah.
really nice. So, yeah,
Surprise, Trinity.
they did.
Oh, I think they wanted it. Yeah.
They still want it.
Residents want access.
What's the timeline for ideally for this one?
I can't, I mean, I would say conservatively, it's still gonna be a few years before we get that. And we may reach a point where they can't get the site clean enough that it's worth the risk of the town taking that piece of property over, so.
What are we gonna use it for?
We don't know yet.
I don't know.
Maybe we could sell it and raise a lot of money.
Isn't that like
What?
There was
further
a,
down the road?
right, so when you drive up to the parking lot of the overlook, you'll
Yeah.
see there's kind of a hill and it goes down to the
Yep.
river. There used to be a landfill there.
Oh, so that's not the landfill with the, we're gonna put solar. panels.
No, that's on 20.
Okay, cause I was like, confused about the geography
Yeah.
here, but. got
No,
it.
two.
Okay.
State hospital is huge.
It is.
Well, but yeah, I didn't know there was landfill there.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, two landfills.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions on,
Technically, there were 3. There was another one on site, but Bill Nassar was listening. There were 3 and I know there was 3.
you'll get an email tomorrow. All right, any more questions on Article 21? Okay, if not, I'd entertain a motion to approve Article 21.
So moved.
Second? All in favor, say aye. Okay, continuing with the hospital, we have maintenance and security, and we're still paying for, I guess,
We're still paying
$50,000.
for it because while Trinity did give us some money last year, that was not the full amount of money required to fund the contract for 2 years to do the lawn mowing and the maintenance. So we need to fund the second year of our contract up there. So we're gonna need the $50,000 to mow it and maintain it because Trinity has not closed on it, so it's still our responsibility. Now, that being said, we do get to count those costs in our revenue share, not revenue, the sale model with DCAM. So we continue to include those costs on a quarterly basis that will eventually come off of the total price that we need to pay the Commonwealth.
Pay the Commonwealth, yeah. It basically increases our cost basis, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any questions on Article 22? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve Article 22.
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Okay, the landfill closure, attorney and engineers.
The second 3.
Yeah. The third being called the salvage yard. in case Bill
This
wondered
is-
about that.
This is Article 23, $50,000.
So we're moving forward on this. We hired a fantastic environmental attorney who's really got us moving forward, and we will share all of our documents and letters that we've had with DEP. At this point, we have actually expended the money we had on hand, but we're at a good pausing point because we've put everything back on DEP and it's in their hands. So we're waiting for their response as to what the next steps are. We anticipate those next steps will be they're going to want to do some borings of the landfill and determine the final cap and where we are. So we are approaching this slowly. I know we've been talking about it for several years because there could be some impact to the town on what we would need to pay to do the final closure. So we have hired very expensive attorneys to guide us through that process to try and bring that cost down.
It's money well spent.
Department of Environmental Protection. Yeah, and there's several towns also who are going through the same process who are now slightly behind us. So we are ahead of it a little
And the
bit.
ultimate goal is to be able to build, to put solar on.
We'd like to put solar on it. We need some revenue generation. We've talked about revenue.
Yeah.
This is definitely a clear site that we can
Yeah.
we can do revenue generation on.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And DEP.
And this is the Route 27.
This is
This is
the big town one. And DEP has seemed receptive to moving this project forward.
Oh, good.
You know, it got slowed down by COVID and we've been kind of in a holding pattern with them, but I think we have some new leadership at DEP that wants to move this forward.
Who's our attorney? What firm is he with?
Anderson Creaser. Yeah.
You know,
What is it?
Jess Walls.
Oh, yeah.
She's fantastic. She's been really, really great. Yeah.
All right, any more questions on Article 23? All right, I entertain a motion to approve Article 23.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Hey.
Yeah. Article 24. Parcel B.
Parcel B. So let me give you a little context on this. So in the land disposition agreement from 2014, which we already referenced tonight, which also references the laundry parcel to be turned over to us, was a discussion of parcel B, which is the land across the street from the hospital, which sometimes get called Sledding Hill. Right now, sometimes gets mistaken for McCarthy Park, but it is not. It is the parcel B. In the LDA, going back to 2008, we had an agreement with the Department of Agriculture, Mass Department of Agriculture, because they said the entire 37 acres of parcel B was agriculturally protected land and we couldn't do anything with it. Now, back in 2008, we were thinking about doing a Parks and Rec facility up there. And they said, absolutely not. And this is before we bought the hospital. So this was, we were trying to buy parcel B from them to do some sort of thing. So this was way before we ever anticipated owning this property. We spent 6 hours in the car with a representative from the Department of Agriculture, Mike Sullivan, myself, and Ken Feeney, and we drove around for 6 hours showing them all the open space that we had in town. We took them to the HomeQuest property. They fell in love with it. They loved we had our community gardens there, and they said, this is the perfect piece of land to do an agricultural swap. And so they went back, said they think about it. They sent us a letter in 2008 and said, we think you can build, we will let you build on 12 acres of that 37 acres for agreement for an agricultural preservation restriction down at the HomeQuest property. Now, we have not, so then fast forward to 2014.
Excuse me, so that's how the 12-acre number.
That's how the 12 acre,
Okay.
that's back in 2008.
Okay.
I spent 6 hours really car sick, but
Where's HomeQuest, by the way?
down,
Street?
yeah.
Where is it?
Is it Plain?
Main Street.
Plain Street,
Yeah,
off
where the
of
Medfield
27.
Woodward is.
It's actually,
Oh, near where they're gonna put up the.
So fast forward to 2014, and we are trying to pretend we don't know that letter from 2008 exists. We want to develop on the whole 37 acres. But DCAM had the letter and said, we're going to honor your agreement with the Department of Agriculture. We're only going to let you build upon the 12 acres. And in the LDA, it says within the first 2 years of owning the property, you must designate which 12 acres those are. Now, obviously, we have owned the property for a lot longer than 2 years. However, the state is also under the obligation to build a road from Hospital Road back to the Overlook. In case we ever did a development at the state hospital that didn't allow public access through the back. So they need to do something in the LDA and we need to do something in the LDA, which is why they have not pushed us to identify the 12 acres because they don't want us to push them to build $1 million road. So we're kind of in a holding pattern. It's great negotiation.
Sounds like we're holding the cards though. in
Yes.
that one.
Yes. So this
Just
50,000.
wanna say I'm super impressed that we have this kind of institutional memory. No, I mean, this is
Yeah.
amazing. You can go back to 2008, talk about campaigning.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
So this, in order to do this, there were some questions that came up when we were considering the basketball facility that was up there and hearing those presentations. And one of the things that came out of that discussion is we really don't know what 12 acres are identified yet. And we need to do that. In order to do that, we need to hire some engineers to come out, look at it, advise us. Are there environmental hazards on certain parts of that we don't want to use? What is the best use of that 12 acres for the town? So that's what this $50,000.
And by doing this, the only unsatisfied vision of the LDA is now in the state. In other words, if we do this, we've satisfied our piece of the LDA,
We have one more step.
but we have another step.
Yeah, once we identify the 12 acres, we're required to put the remaining 37 acres under a permanent agricultural preservation restriction.
Yeah, but that was always the.
That's all, yeah.
It's always been the understanding.
Yeah.
So, but my point is that we could then turn the heat up on them to build this road to the access.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
there's no fear of them.
Take a
You
week.
know,
There's probably a no waiver clause in this contract. We're calling them the next day.
And there's some pluses and minuses to them building that road, so, you know, it depends on how we move forward. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I assumed
Yes.
you wanted it. But yeah.
It depends. We're still talking about
It's nice to have that in your back pocket. Yeah.
Maybe we want something else in exchange for $1 million
So
plus.
basically it goes behind.
it. It would go behind, yeah, it'd be behind the Trinity project.
Right.
You'd go through that agricultural.
So this really is, we're obligated to do this. It doesn't interfere with any decision about what happens up there.
No.
We have to do this to satisfy the LDA.
And if the select board wanted to do anything on that 12 acres, they have to come back to town meeting.
Right.
It's just to designate the 12.
Okay. Okay.
And if we do this, we get out front, stay in front of the state.
Yeah. I like your thinking. Any questions?
Was the 12 like a trade, or why did they pick 12? I was just curious, like.
That was the size of Homequist, right?
It was, yeah, based on the HomeQuest property, they just did.
That was the swap, the agricultural swap with the size of Homequist.
That's 12 acres.
Homequist,
I think it's more than that. They were willing to, they didn't want to lose the total 37, so I don't know what rationale they came up with the 12.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve Article 24.
Moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Bye.
Okay. Article 25. This we heard from Deb, right? $5,000.
Yeah.
I think we,
And this is what we did last year as well.
yeah. So no questions on this, right? Okay. I'd entertain a motion to approve Article 25, the Conservation Trust Fund.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. All right, the Economic Vitality Fund.
So this fund was set up many years ago. And it allows the select board to use the money for, typically we've done economic vitality projects in the downtown. We use this fund to pay for anything related to the holiday stroll. Specifically, we bring in the lighting, we bring in the water barriers. Thank you. To keep everybody safe on 27. We were actually able to lower that request this year because we were able to close down the street during the holiday stroll. We also use this to assist the garden club. The garden club does all of our traffic islands in town. So we use that to offset some of the costs they have in planting and maintaining those gardens for us. And I'm trying to think, there's some other small projects that have come up. We just use them for the wayfinding program. We need a small amount of money. We did not request this last year. We had enough money left over that we did not request it last year, but we will need it going forward for those projects this year.
Okay, any questions on this Article 26? Not an entertain a motion to approve Article 26.
So moved.
Second, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now we get to the snow and ice.
Yes.
We have an amount on our sheet here of 187,000. That's right.
Yes, but you're going to, it's higher than that. So you're gonna actually, we have to change how we're gonna do this. So, well, so we're taking $75,000 from the overlay surplus and that the Board of Assessors released earlier. We originally allocated the 75,000 because at the time that was our snow and ice deficit. Nobody anticipated the blizzard of 2026. That increased us by an additional $187,000 that we are in deficit for snow and ice.
Over and above the 75.
Over and above the 75.
So really it's 250
Yes.
over there, yeah.
Yep, so this article will appropriate and transfer 75,000 from the overlay surplus and the remainder, the 187, which it's highlighted in yellow in your free cash, but that changed by $8,000 or $10,000 before next week. All our final bills should be in this week, but that remainder will come from free cash.
Okay, we can't go over the,
Nope, we won't. We won't.
we gotta stay within the policy, okay.
I have 0.06.
Well, he said we're within the policy, but I thought snow and ice wasn't. You were allowed to go as far as
Well-
the deficit as you needed to.
Well, theoretically, yes.
Yeah.
Talking about the free cash.
Free cash.
This is coming out of free cash, but you're allowed to carry it over. Like deficit spend.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to make it up the next year.
Yeah,
So
and
it
this
doesn't
is-
help us when we're doing 2 years.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is way too much for us. And I should point out, prior to, I would say 2021, we used to carry this, under the appropriations, not required. We used to carry $100,000 because we used to get a lot more snow. And then when we weren't getting a lot of snow, 21, 22, 23, we cut that out because if we were going over, it was small amounts and we could handle it by carrying it over. Last year, we went over by about 80,000, but this year is just too big to let that carry over.
How do you make it up in the subsequent year? You put it in the budget?
It goes on the tax recap. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's, you're
Yeah.
right, I forgot that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is just too much to do on.
Sure.
Right, any questions? More questions on that? Okay, entertain a motion to approve Article 27, snow and ice deficit. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, wake up, guys. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Prior year bills, Article 28.
We don't have a total yet. We're still collecting them from all of the various departments.
Okay. They're still coming in.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But they're less than, I think we're less than 12,000.
Yeah.
At this point. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Everybody knows what the, like,
Is it new bills or something like over and above the encumbrance?
It come in after the prior fiscal year. So we don't have a PO system.
You didn't,
So-
or you don't have?
Yeah, we don't, yep. Yeah. It typically they,
school has that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. But schools usually have everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions on this prior year bill one? I entertain a motion to approve Article 28.
So moved.
All right, is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Awesome. All right, now we get into these general articles, which might require a little more explanation. Article 29.
Article 29 is the reduction of the town meeting quorum, and the select board had brought this up because of the failed town meeting that we had and needed to reschedule several years ago where we did not reach quorum. It is expensive to put on a town meeting, and we are incredibly lucky that we have a resident in town that donates a lot of their time helping and assisting us with the sound and working with Medfield TV. If we no longer had that person, the cost of town meeting would probably be closer to about $20,000. So we are say we, probably me, living in fear of ever having that again, where we don't reach quorum at town meeting. Now, since we started talking about reducing the quorum for the last 3 years, we've had great turnout at town meeting. So we could just keep talking about it. And hope that, you know, we keep getting our 375 to 400 people coming. But the select board felt it was financially prudent to reduce it to 150 in the bylaw.
Okay. I mean, there's pros and cons on this, but I think it makes sense, you know, my personal perspective. I don't know what other people think.
And I think between 150 and 250 puts us on par with like Dover, Sherborne, Westwood. We wouldn't be an outlier to this.
No, we did consider that in coming up with the 150. And when we have a town meeting website and we put all the additional materials, and we have a survey of that, and we'll have that on there for people to review as well.
I think it's the right thing to do, but it's a shame.
I know, I hate even talking about it, because you know how much I love town meeting. I know.
Yeah, that's the argument that we'll hear, is that, you know, you're ceding control to a smaller number.
Right.
But if that's your, I mean,
But you guys show up.
The counters
you gotta
show
show
up.
up, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
This
This doesn't, I mean, this doesn't say it's the maximum. Yeah.
Right.
Just the minimum to
Yeah,
be
I would
able to start
definitely-
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
No, in principle, I don't like even having talked about. Yeah. That was
All right.
the most devastating town meeting I've ever.
Spent $100 on babysitting that didn't even need it.
The restaurant's really still open.
I'll do it.
You're fired, Ed.
Sold. Saving money, let's do it. Oh.
All right, Eddie, I did say a motion to approve Article 29.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Article 30, the timing of elections. This is my favorite.
This is for me, this is the most important one for this year, besides budget. This has always bothered me, and I've brought it up to the select board and the moderator, is that having the election before town meeting does a couple things. One, you have chairs of your boards or members of your elected boards who are leading the agenda, leading the warrant articles to get to town meeting, and then 5-6 weeks before town meeting, they're no longer on the board. That puts a lot of pressure on new members to get up to speed in 5 weeks. And it could entirely change what has been worked on literally the 11 months prior to that town meeting. So I think this really becomes an issue with the moderator. Now we're lucky, we changed that a few years ago to be a 3-year term, but when it was a 1-year term, the moderator, if you elected a new moderator, would have 5 weeks to bring themselves up to
That's
speed.
exactly what happened.
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Yep. So that is an issue. So that's one of them. The other is if you have an override, like we might be talking about, you have to hold a special town election, and that is about $11,000. I feel if we move the election to after the town meeting, when you have actions at town meeting, you can then act upon them immediately after those at the election. And we would set that election date be minimum 35 days, no longer than 40 after the town meeting. This was really an issue when you make a minor charter change, like we did for the moderator. You can only act on that at a ballot question at an annual town meeting. So you actually have to wait an entire year from town meeting to enact that change. The biggest problem that became for us was when we withdrew from civil service. We educated people, we ran a great campaign, the unions, the chief, myself, we all worked together to make that change at town meeting, but then it has to pass the ballot. And we had to wait the year for the ballot and re-educate and redo the whole thing right before town meeting. And you've lost people, you've lost their understanding. They may not have been here, so they don't know what they're voting on because there's such a span of time because you're required to do it at an annual.
And my pet peeve is that some committees in town don't take votes on things before an election.
I heard that.
What's the
Well,
downside?
like the budget. No.
But that's also a way to, you know, if you don't like what happened at town meeting and you want to replace your elected
Right,
people.
yes.
You can do that
Right.
with this in the immediate rear view mirror and hold people accountable at the ballot
Yeah.
box for what.
So
happened.
that is how it was always presented to me as to why it was held before. So that if you were angry with somebody at town meeting,
Yeah.
you wouldn't take action to remove them from office immediately. You would have some time to think about
I
it,
like the reversal. Yeah.
right? That's how it was always presented to me as to why they originally put that in the charter. I don't know if that's true. That was just anecdotal, riding around the car for 6 hours conversation.
Department of Agriculture.
Well, it creates a lot of issues, particularly a year like this where we're trying to get committees to get
Yeah,
consensus around stuff. And the calendar's so compressed that, you know, they just delayed a week and we're kind of like where we are, you know?
Yeah.
And it just, you know,
Great, and so this is contingent upon a ballot question, which you will not see until next March.
ugh.
You can't throw that one in.
You
Because
can't,
it's
it
a-
can't,
The
it can't
special
be at a
town?
special, it has to be at an
Because
annual.
it's just like the moderator change. We had to wait a year for that. Okay,
All right.
Yeah.
we got to start, I guess.
Yeah.
So we'll
Rip
be
the
talking
Band-Aid,
about it again
you know.
next year.
I was thinking if there was any other downside, and the only thing I could come up with is that like that every 4 years there'll be a presidential primary in March that would have like overlapped,
Mhm.
right? But that's a really off scenario, so I don't think
Yeah.
that really makes a difference. That was like, when else would you have an election?
You'd end up with a
Yeah.
March primary and a June election.
Yeah.
Don't we
But
get some
no different-
reimbursement for when we do the federal and the state elections? Don't we get some
We get
reimbursement
some
for that?
Yeah, we do get some money back. And the other issue is it's no different than now where we had our regular election in March and now we're having a special in June. So,
Oh, totally, yeah,
Yeah.
this is true.
yeah. So I think it makes more sense. A lot of towns are like this. There are several towns who are also considering the change. For the exact same reasons that we're. I just think it makes more sense in the timeline.
Yeah, and then, you know, the other, we all know this, so you have changes in committees
Absolutely.
because of elections and they have, take the school committee, they have literally a week to get up to speed on something very important and vote on it. So,
And the town moderator appoints people to the warrant committee, so if you don't like what happened at town meeting, elect a new moderator, and then you get 3 new warrant committee members. So talk about holding people accountable. That's ballot box. I think that's what it was. And it's administratively more efficient.
okay. I'd entertain a motion then to approve Article 30.
No motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, Article 31, the adoption of the specialized stretch energy code. We heard from them last week. I sent around some questions and you guys saw their answers. I drafted up what could be either a majority or minority report with thoughts and sent that around. I don't know what people's thoughts are on this particular article. But we didn't have a chance to talk about it. That, you know, we kind of shut the conversation off last week, so.
I shared your views in your memo.
Okay.
The only thing I would add to it is I'm concerned about committing additional expenditures, especially in a year like this when, you know, the longer term financial benefits, to say nothing about anything else, but the longer term financial benefits are uncertain and pretty dependent on a lot of assumptions that may or may not come true.
Yeah.
We're already talking about an override this year, stabilization fund next year, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars of additional capital projects.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, we want to increase those costs by an extra 10%.
I mean, I know you, he suggested some wording changes, and I thought they were good. I didn't reflect them in this draft though, but
I didn't reply all because of.
Ed, did you
What
want
we
to say
did
something?
here is that third tier eventually becomes part of the second tier, which
Yes.
they're at.
Yes,
So we really don't have to go there. We can just wait for the time to come in.
right. A good way of putting it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Or, you know, I mean, if you really supported this, I mean, I would think I think there's a, you know, let's say they really want this. Well, we'll let the process unfold for the biggest project we're gonna do in the town. Right? I mean, it's just, these kind of projects don't come along too often. So my thought was, we have $1.5 million we're giving to expert consultants to study all this stuff. Let's not tie their hands. Let's do it in an open process and not mandate a particular solution. They might come to the same answer, but it'll be a more healthy process, right?
Yeah, Steve, the other thing I added, I thought that isn't as big of a dollar amount as the school project, but the reason I asked about the planning board was I thought the planning board might have an opinion about it, or like other new construction.
Yeah.
In town, aside from the schools, when we're looking to raise the revenue base, like you'd want to have buy-in from anyone in the town that's building new stuff.
Yeah.
If they support this, and I just didn't hear that.
Right.
So for that reason, I don't think we should, you know.
Right? Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Well, if anyone has comments on this report, just let me know. I've got his, and I'll get this to you. I think I sent you a copy of this. All right, so can we vote on this article then, Article 31? So I would entertain a motion then to dismiss Article 31.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Article 32 is the Castle Hill. We heard from them already.
Mhm.
I think there was a great discussion. Do you have any questions? Just ask Joe.
Sorry.
Email me your warrant report.
I'd entertain a motion to approve Article 32. There's second. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Article 33, the special legislation to allow digital legal notices.
I can't take credit for all of these.
Yeah, a couple other towns have done this, and the reason why towns have kind of gone out on their own to do this is there is usually like a big bill that does it, but it never really moves anywhere. So onesie twosie little towns cities have been doing this, and the reason is a lot of the local newspapers have gone to the wayside, and there isn't a lot of publications for legal notices anymore, and they become very expensive. And so what this would do is it would allow by statute, we have to put a lot of our public hearing notices, especially for planning and zoning, in and publish them in a local newspaper their circulation. This would allow that the public hearing notices to be posted on our website and like the bulletin board out in front lobby of the town. And so this would save us money. And also the thing that happens with us a lot is, I mean, we use Hometown Weekly. They publish every Thursday. So if you don't get it into that Thursday, you're stuck waiting for the next Thursday. So it just, you're really looking to kind of move things along and public hearings along. You don't really have a long waiting time. It just kind of, you're kind of stuck in that cycle of waiting if you don't meet the deadline. So this would just ease us that process and make it more efficient and less cost effective.
Do people still subscribe to get a notification electronically?
Sure.
Yes, yeah, we can definitely do that. Yeah, we can make that at like a little toggle on our website. Right now, we do publish our public hearing notices on our website under the town clerk's page already anyway. So this would just make it the official place. And if I'm trying to think off the top of my head of it, I think Arlington, Watertown, maybe Lexington has done it, Franklin has done it. And a couple other towns as well successfully. So we, after this is approved, we would send it over to our delegation and they would move it along the process and happens. And they are approved more regularly than that big kind of bill. I think there's always a place for it in the Municipal Modernization Act, but it just never goes anywhere, so.
Like the hearing we had today, where would that have been posted?
On the town clerk's website.
In the con-
It is now.
So that's where it was posted, okay.
Yeah.
And well, and it was in the hometown.
And it was in the hometown week.
We're already doing both.
It is already doing both.
Local publication you have to do
Right.
for it to be official. This
Yeah.
would just scrub that and we aren't adding anything new.
Yeah, we paid $112 to get it posted in the hometown weekly, which probably no one.
Yeah, I mean, the only downside to this is like elderly people who might not have access to technology.
No, I actually do think you can look at that.
Yeah.
I think this, this is one of the things we considered when we're looking at the budget and where we're going to save money.
Yeah.
So this is definitely done on a cost savings basis.
Yeah.
But we recognize that some people that's how they're hearing about this hearing.
Yeah.
They're not the butter.
It doesn't preclude it. If you had something really important, you could.
Oh, absolutely.
You could still
Absolutely.
you could do
could still
both,
do
yeah.
it. So,
But you have a choice at
Right.
least. Yeah, okay. Any other questions on this article? All right, did I entertain a motion to approve Article 33?
So moved.
There's second. All in favor, say aye. All right, getting there, guys. Article 34, the mandatory retirement age for fire
So-
department members.
So in Massachusetts, if you are a member of the fire department, you have a mandatory retirement at 65. And we currently have a member of the department, David O'Toole, who's worked with the town for over 40 years, both in his capacity in the water department and as a call firefighter. And he functions as our deputy chief within the call fire department. And it affords our chief to be able to take a vacation. We have additional coverage. As you know, we have been looking to create a deputy chief's position. There was a timeline, but that pesky Carrico messed it up for me by retiring a few years early. So we were not able to put that into place. And obviously with a level service budget, adding a full-time position of deputy chief was not a possibility for us this year. It was on our list of want tos, but we could not do that. In having those discussions, we realized that David was turning 65 at the end of this year. And we would be left without a deputy chief position for this department. And so we've asked David, and he is interested in staying on. And in order to do that, we need to pass an article at town meeting, as well as special legislation similar to the last article.
So he technically, if he did retire, could get a pension, right? He'd collect his pension. So he's deferring that.
He can still retire from the water department
Okay.
and still function as an on-call
Okay,
fire deputy chief.
okay, that's what I
Yeah.
didn't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's not planning on retiring from the water department this year. But
Okay.
he's obligated, it's mandatory to retire from fire this
Okay,
December, so.
okay.
We want him to stay. That's really the bottom line.
Any questions?
Well,
He has to
He wants to stay,
Has to retire because he's 65.
yeah, and we want him to stay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you'll find it's fairly common in towns around us who have done special legislation. Natick's doing it for their current police chief now. So you see it common
We can
in
double
fire.
dip
and
a
police.
little bit.
I don't think he's retiring, so he'll
Well,
just continue to be the same
right.
way he is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He could have
pension assessment will go down.
And he could have gotten paid for not working, just like pension, just.
Well, so-
An amazing guy, like,
So he can't-
am I misunderstanding that?
He can't retire from the on-call deputy chief position unless he retires from his town water position. And he's not ready to do that. So he would not be able to collect
Oh,
pension.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
He's obligated to retire, but there would be no pension associated with doing that.
Unless he
Yeah. it's-
fully retires from
Stage
both. Yeah, got it. Okay,
Actually.
Yes. Everybody loves working here.
And entertain a motion then to approve Article 34.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Article 35, transfer and care, custody and control of Baxter Park.
Yes, so the select board and Parks and Recreation have had discussions about this for several years. We talked about it more significantly when we created the one-person grounds department last year. Obviously, again, we weren't able to add to that department this year. We discussed putting this article on hold, but we feel it's important. It's our veterans park. It really needs the attention we give to our other non-recreational parks. So right now, the town has care, custody, and control of Gazebo, Warrior Park. And we have care, custody, and control of our pocket park. And we would like to have the select board and the DPW manage Baxter Park.
And everybody's happy with that, so.
Park and Rec is more than happy to pass it along
And
to
you
us.
guys are,
Yes, and for a significant amount of time, we acted as if we were the controllers of the park and we let people use it. So Park and Rec is more than happy to pass that on.
okay.
That's gonna mow the lawn.
It's possible, depending on that override.
All right. Entertain a motion to approve Article 35. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, our zoning articles, we've already been through these, so I think we'll just, unless anybody has some questions, I think we could just approve these, right?
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed from when we talked to these folks.
Yeah.
The sign bylaw one requires 2/3, huh?
Mhm.
Okay. All zoning articles are 2/3. vote.
Unless they're housing related.
Okay. 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 Entertain a motion to approve Articles 36 and 37. Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, you're getting there, guys. You're getting there. See, this is quite a long article.
Yeah.
38 is our citizens petition.
The board is dismissed.
So we've voted to dismiss this, but I did send around a report that I did it kind of late today, but here's a copy if you take a quick look. It's kind of an abbreviated version of my memo that I wrote. So I didn't really change much other than try to make it shorter. Because I know Christine, it's a lot of paper to print.
We have a very, very big warrant this year.
Yeah. The only question I had for you was the 110,000 that is in the account for the feasibility study, right? I've kind of heard differing opinions on whether that's enough to finish or whether they need more. Is that, or what's your view on that?
So I think, I've talked to Mike Quinlan about this, and we had some emails back and forth this week about it. And, I think he made it clear to you last week, it depends on what the scope of your study is.
Yeah.
You could add $50,000 to this and probably be comfortable.
Okay.
You could add $150,000 to it.
Yeah. But you can manage it basically to this number.
I think they can manage it.
Okay.
They also have access to their own revolving fund. So if they needed to supplement it,
Yeah.
they can use their revolving fund without an appropriation from town meeting.
Okay.
So they have that ability, and they do have some insurance money that's come in that they've set aside for capital projects that I think would be a perfect use for it.
Okay. Okay, well, if people have, I know you haven't had time to look at this, but if you have comments, just send them along and we will incorporate them. We've already voted on this article. The dogs, we're up to the dogs now.
So I understand if you want to take some time to think about that, because you just got that tonight.
Yeah.
And if anybody who came in early, we were discussing this at the select board meeting this evening as well. So I don't know if you had enough time.
I think we'll have, I think we're meeting next week, so my guess is let's absorb kind of what they did last night and what they're proposing. I'm not
From
sure.
what I heard, you have a little dog, they have a broken neck. They have 3 things scrapped. The collar, and then they have got medallion, and they get the 3rd thing.
Yeah,
Isn't it? I mean, I don't have a dog. If you had a little one, they're gonna have trouble walking.
yeah, that's true.
I haven't heard anything about this yet. other than that.
Oh, you haven't? Oh,
Oh,
Oh, Nora,
well, they had, why don't you update? Just give us. a
So
quick-
the dog bylaw control committee met last night and reviewed this. Mark Zarell has had an opportunity to review it with the dog bylaw committee and Eileen. And that's what they're putting forward.
Eileen said she talked to you and you're on board with it. I think no, she said you're
No,
gonna
he's
deal
gonna
with it.
review it.
You're gonna review
well,
it.
I noticed the one meeting I didn't go to, you guys signed it to me, but I.
That's what happens when you miss meetings.
It's the dog article, I'm gonna get the dog article. I am not prepared to talk about it because I couldn't have gone to the meeting. I didn't know.
but
No.
What are you, Ed, referring to about the various things that have to be worn around the
That's what I was just.
License.
That was the last
They
thing I
have to have a medallion, is that correct?
Well, I think this program is for a medallion. This article is for a medallion.
So, no, the article gives the authorization for the select board to create rules and regulations to
Okay.
establish a medallion program. So this is really just clarifying the select board's authority for dogs to access town-owned land, off-leash areas, signage, and then the ability to create a medallion program similar to what you heard tonight.
So we have to send Marion a check every year for a dog tag.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to get a medallion on top of the dog tag.
If you want to walk.
You want to walk on town-owned property. Like the state hospital.
Yeah, like
So there's,
Make like an RFID chip, so if you don't have the medallion, your dog gets zapped before. Step.
Eileen is online if you just.
okay.
Would like to.
Well,
Just now-
ask her if she's available on next Monday.
yeah, I think we need to go through it next
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
I need to see the minutes from last.
Yeah, just ask her if she can
Like,
come, maybe come to the meeting on
I
Monday.
already, I mean,
There's a lot.
compared to real estate taxes, dog tag is nothing, but it's still like,
Especially for.
people with cats don't have to pay anything.
She's available next Monday.
She is Monday, okay, great.
Perfect. Yeah,
Okay,
'cause I
so
think-
she'll come in and explain
yeah,
it to us then.
There's a few things I need to ask about
All right,
for this,
okay,
I think.
All right.
And if anyone else has.
okay. All right, and then the last article is free cash. Do we,
And well, this article is only if there's an amendment that changes how we're utilizing our free cash.
do we vote on this as a
So
committee?
typically
We
it's
don't have,
dismissed.
okay,
It's
And we-
typically dismissed. We aren't
and
anticipating.
we do it at the town meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. all right.
Yeah.
So we're done.
You're done.
Well, now let's just review which articles we're gonna do next week.
We
Did you
have
keep
to go
track?
back to 16, 18, and
Which,
39.
which ones again?
16, 18, 39.
3 articles. That's pretty good.
We want to revisit the order.
And then we have to, of course, go through all the work reports and make sure we are fine with the wording.
Yep.
That'll be probably spend most of the meeting next week doing that. So when will you be able to get them drafts of those? Don't say Monday.
Oh.
You could do it in waves too.
Yeah, we have some that are already written, so we'll go back through and make sure we know who's assigned to each article, and we'll start sending it to you. Some of them are standard from year to year, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah, at least
we'll start.
2/3 of them are standard.
We'll get them to you by Friday.
Okay.
Ish.
Let's.
Is there any committee
Put
update?
the issue.
No, well, if there are, I don't know, we're waiting to hear from the MSBA about whether they approve our choice of OPM. And I haven't heard anything yet. I don't, we have selected Vertex and submitted that to the MSBA. The MSBA approved that, but we don't know.
When, I thought they,
They're supposed to, the MSBA is supposed to meet April 6th,
oh,
time with our meeting.
oh, okay.
And they said that we want to meet when the warrant. And so we have a meeting on April 8th. And we will find out whether vertex has been chosen has been approved.
Okay. All right.
Just to circle back on the 2/3, I know you're gonna look into
I'm
this.
working on it right now. Yeah.
Because it's establishment and appropriation. According to my Google sources.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we did, what if we did 2 articles?
You could do 2 articles, you could separate them.
Think about that.
Establishment.
Would the second one still require?
Or you could just leave it combined and it'll be.
No, second one, to appropriate money in is a majority, and to appropriate money out, it's just the establishment. They didn't change that
So
I don't know.
it's,
I don't know.
sorry, it's 2/3
to create it.
to create it and only 50%
Oh, I thought
appropriate.
the other way.
But does it still make sense to consider?
That really is.
It is really crazy.
It's no harm, no foul then to
Yeah.
create it. Like, if you're trying to get the 2/3, like, does it make sense to separate it? Because
I agree,
if
yeah.
it says, since it's, all it does is not funded, if the funding is separately, then at least it can be explained to people as, this all depends on what happens next. If it gets created, it's not funded until later.
Right,
They're not
Do it
together.
after.
I think it'll be easier for people to say, let's go ahead and create it, and then we're gonna now talk about the override and if we're gonna fund it.
yeah,
Like separate the
That
funding
makes
from the
sense.
creation, because creation could be administrative, much more administrative.
No, you're fine, it's a simple majority.
For creation.
The fiscal year 23 supplemental budget bill. Special purpose stabilization funds will only require, oh, that's to vote to spend the funds, never mind, you still need 2/3. You can spend it the way you want.
I don't know if that helps them.
Yes,
Right.
no,
We could just.
yeah, it's still 2/3 to create.
Because the funding discussion is really the override discussion.
so,
Yeah.
so
So
when Milton,
if I was me.
when
and I worked in
Milton
legislature,
did this year.
Yeah.
How did they do
They
it?
did not, maybe possibly did not do it the right way. But saying I might have talked to someone, who might have done it differently than they were supposed to.
Tell Nick to go, tell us the secret.
They didn't set it up as a special stabilization fund, as special purpose. They set it up as a general stabilization fund, which requires a 2/3 to create it and a 2/3 to spend out.
Oh,
Yeah, so they put more restrictions on it, the way they did it.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Not that they did it wrong, they just did it different. They
So
shouldn't
their
have said it.
vote, but their vote, they must have got to 2/3.
Yeah.
So, okay. They're representative though, right?
They're represented.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it's much easier.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
much easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments, questions on that? Anything else? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. There a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Well done.